and welcome to the Public Prep Podcast. I'm Samantha Diaz. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Myalynn Morales. Myalynn is a graduate from Girls Prep Lower East Side Middle in 2020. She's gone on to do some wonderful things in Brooklyn Emerging Leaders Academy. We invited Myalynn because she represents so many of the best attributes of a public prep grad. She's a courageous learner, critical thinker, and already blossoming into a resilient leader. To kick us off, Maya reflects on making a transition from middle to high school.
My name is Myalynn Morales. I attended Girls Prep since first grade, and I'm currently now at Brooklyn Emerging Leaders Academy, which is also an all-girls school charter that's actually located in Brooklyn. My mom actually heard about Girls Prep through a friend because I was actually struggling in first grade, in kindergarten actually, where I wasn't on grade level. And so my school got a really bad review and I was in a public school. And so my mom wasn't okay with that. And so she was searching for schools and came across Girls Prep. And so, yeah, I actually got in kindergarten, but my mom didn't feel comfortable transferring me during the school year. And then after my first 4 years in elementary school, I decided that I was going to stick with Girls Prep, and I ended up going to Girls Prep Middle School. And so it was definitely an easy adjustment, I would say, because a lot of the girls that I kind of basically grew up with were still in the school. And so it was definitely an interesting experience attending Girls Prep, especially since it's an all-girls school where the environment is different than it would be in a co-ed school. It was very supportive, and that's something that helped me now that I'm currently attending an all-girls school charter, which again was another easy adjustment because it was an all-girls school. So she definitely sat down and spoke to me about making moves that were comfortable for myself, but that will also allow me to grow as a person. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing to have that experience, and so good to hear that, you saw Miss McCullough, just the other day. So amazing to hear that, and really great. And you said that you're attending an all-girls charter, is that correct?
Yes.
You said that Ms. McCullough played a part in you applying for high school. Could you speak a little bit more about that and your current kind of like status at your current high school? Like, what's that been like, and how did you learn about Brooklyn Emerging Leaders Academy?
Okay, so Miss McCullough was actually my guidance counselor for high school. And so it was very overwhelming for her in the process because she was the only person. But me and Miss McCullough always had a connection from when I was in sixth grade, and I got really close with her. And she understood where I was going in the sense of where my mindset was. And so we sat down, we had a high school class that I forgot what they called it. It was, I think, something along the lines of college readiness, but it was more for high school preparation. And so she gave us a book, and each day or throughout the month, she would set up a meeting with everyone individually and see the list that we want. She would speak to our parents, see what they wanted, but really wanted to see our input on what we saw in the future. And so one of the girls that attended Girls Prep actually went to Brooklyn Emerging Leaders Academy. And so I actually sat down and I told Miss McCullough, I'm not going to an all-girls school charter again. There's no way. I've been doing this for 8 years. I need a different environment. Not that I didn't love the environment that I was in. I wanted something different. And that's hard for me to admit, especially since I like the routine of consistency. And so I sat down, I spoke to her, and she was like, just keep your options open. And so I applied for Catholic schools, private schools, charter schools, and of course the public school system. And so there was a wide range of schools. And at the end of the day, it was meant to be because I ended up going to an all-girls school charter. And when Ms. McCullough called me and told me about the high school I got into, I was honestly very disappointed because I was very hardworking. I thought I did deserve to do better than that. But, I still believe that everything happened for a reason. And so that girl, I actually had a tour of the high school, just to, of course, keep my options open and just in case anything happened. And so that same girl actually happened to be my tour guide. And so she gave me a tour of the school, and she was very honest and open about the whole process and how it was going, especially since Brooklyn Emerging Leaders is a new school. And so they're actually 2021 are having their second graduating class. And so that was something I was also not very comfortable with because it wasn't open for too long. Um, but again, I stuck with it. I listened to what she had to say. But again, I was very closed minded. At the end of the day, it boiled down, and I told myself I was not going into the public school system again. I would have a better chance going to another charter school because of Girls Prep. And so I ended up attending Brooklyn Emerging Leaders Academy, where I am now. I was last year the mathlete president. I'm currently attending. I'm currently in student government association where I'm the treasurer. So I have to do budgeting and all of that for my team. I'm very definitely social, which Girls Prep helped me do because I was very much so, I guess I would say, aggressive or like more in my shell because I was like really closed off. And they helped me grow as a person. So when I opened to new doors into Bella, I was very open. I was very happy. I like to socialize with a lot of people. I love helping others. And Girls Prep definitely helped me with that process. And I feel like because I went to all girls school and then I transferred into high school, it definitely helped me be who I am today. And it's definitely much so appreciated. They offer a lot of opportunities. And yeah.
It seems like you've been offered many opportunities. Myalynn, tell me more about your interest in sports.
So yes, I am an athlete and I actually played soccer, softball, rugby, and basketball during middle school. And so it's definitely really hard because after school I was playing rugby and then after school that I was playing rugby, I would play softball. But something that I'm currently sticking with because I grew up with it because my brother plays baseball was softball. But something I can say was that Girls Pop offered a lot of those extracurricular activities that really end up making an impact on your life. I played 3 years on the basketball team and we won the championship for the first time and we were on our way to do it again, but unfortunately the pandemic hit. And so it was definitely a great experience, a great opportunity because I love staying in shape. I love playing. I love being a leader. So it was definitely all those things. I played rugby with my after school, which I actually found through like they work with Girls Prep to like when I was younger to do pickups for middle school. And so yeah, I actually played soccer, if I'm not mistaken, 6th and 7th grade. Then I played basketball 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then I played softball throughout my whole life. So it was kind of on the come up. And currently I am playing volleyball and hopefully able to join the track team. And I'm also playing softball as well because that is a sport I would see myself playing in the future.
Do you have a career path in mind that you would like to pursue?
I was taught to shoot for the moon, land on a star. And so Girls Pub helped me shoot for the moon and land on the moon. And some people are like, what does that mean? And that means if you have a dream, if you have a goal, get there. Don't let nothing stop you. Don't settle for less. And so they say when you have a plan A and a plan B distracts you from plan A. And so it was always good to have backups, but I learned to settle on one thing, something that I enjoy. And as an overthinker, this is something I constantly think about. Is this really what I want to do in the future? Because when it comes to college, I got to major in something. And if I don't like my major, I got to change it. So you see, everything kind of trickles down as an overthinker. If I don't like my major, I might not get all my credits. I might not graduate for college, all those things. And so currently I'm really interested in forensic psychology as well as business. And so it's very much so two different career paths. But I'm definitely seeing ways that I can incorporate that in my everyday job that I would love to do in the future. And so I'm still trying to find that, but Girls Prep helped me realize that I love helping people. I have a passion for helping people, but I always want to know why. I was constantly asking questions in class. I was constantly wondering, like, what was the reason for this? And they're like, Maya, I can't answer that question for you, but this is something you really want. And I was very much so curious kid. And so I definitely stuck with that big idea of why. And so that's what I currently am interested in now, more in the forensic aspect of criminals and why they do the things that they do. And when it comes to neurological. And so I really feel that that plays a really big role because Ghost Prep really had me thinking, what do I like to do? How can I incorporate that into my everyday life?
If you had advice for your younger self, what advice would you give? And to other girls who are potentially thinking about going to girls prep or wanting to attend girls prep, what advice would you have for them? What would you say to them about your experience at girls prep overall?
There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of roller coasters. There's going to be a lot of different things that you're going to come across, but don't shy away from them. Those are going to help build you to who you are, and have a great time while you're at it. Don't overthink too much. And although you can't necessarily stop that, but live in the moment, realize that everything is going to happen because you worked for it. And something I didn't realize as a kid is that your hard work does pay off. You're working, you're gonna end up getting to where you want to go. Just don't give up, keep fighting. It's a long journey, but it's definitely worth it. And use the opportunities and resources that you have around you, because those are really gonna help you in the long run. And Girls Prep definitely helped me with networking, building connections with people, and how that can help me in my future, because that's a very key thing when you go to high school, because after that, you need to know people. So, yeah, but have a great time.
Girls Prep has a set of core values that are important to us as leaders of this institution. How have these values impacted you as a grad?
In my current high school, we have four core values. Those core values are strength, sisterhood, scholarship, and service. And so, Girls Prep helped, those core values help shape me to who I am. And something that stuck with me is responsibility, taking accountability for your actions, no matter what ends up happening. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And so, those, you're like, what does that have to do with anything? What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. That helps you shape you to the person that you are. When you can differentiate the right from the wrong, from the bad from the good, in the sense of, you know what you want for yourself. And when it comes to whether it is friendships or the world, you know what it is to keep fighting and which way you want to go. What direction? Do I go right? Do I go left? And so those core values definitely played a really big role. I actually got a core value polo called responsibility. And it took me till now to understand the impact that those values really had on my life. And so when I moved or transferred, or how to say, when I went to high school and they had four core values, something there that stuck with me was strength. Because although they didn't have responsibility, strength was me taking accountability for my actions around other people and around for myself. If anything happened, I knew what I did and how to make myself better. If I didn't turn in my homework, that's because I decided not to do that. If I didn't do this, it's because I decided not to do that. But if I want to shoot for the star, if I want to shoot for an opportunity or something better, it's because I chose to do that, not anyone else holding me back. And so those core values definitely 110% played a really big role into the person that I am and the person that I'm trying to find and become. And so, yeah.
We've learned through these conversations that girls prep is many different things to many different people. What have you learned about yourself now that you're a graduate?
It's a community. It's a community where they'll support you, but you gotta find it. They're not gonna chase you, and that's a part of life. Nobody's gonna chase you. You gotta want it. You gotta fight for it. And if they see that this is what you want for yourself, they're gonna help you with that. And so everyone there, whether you like them, whether you don't, whether it comes to teachers or staff, they want what's best for you. They come with great intentions. And so they want to sit there and they want to support you in every which way possible, whether it's your mental health, your physical health, everything. And so really take that into account instead of, I've noticed that even me, I can become closed off and closed minded, stay open to opportunities and just everything there, because in the end, those will play a big role. Where you're at now, can dictate where you can be in 10 years, or they won't. It just depends on the type of person that you are. And Girls Prep really helped shape me to the person that I am. I've learned so much about myself in this process. I've learned I'm ambitious, I'm an overthinker, I love to learn, I seek adventure, I want to know why. And so there's so many things that middle school does to help prepare you for high school. And so Girls Prep definitely plays a really big role. And when they offer you something, take it. Support is a really big thing here at Girls Prep and or public prep. And it's very much so needed.
You've had a distinction of being part of a generation of COVID scholars. What was it like making that transition from in-person to virtual learning?
It was definitely very devastating to know that I was told that I needed to get everything out my locker because I won't be in school for a long time. It was definitely very heartbreaking. Like I said, I'm a very social person. So that definitely gave me enormous anxiety, especially since I do well when I'm learning in person. And so when all the classes moved online, it was a little chaotic because it was really hard to get everything situated. But in the end, I do think everything did work out virtually because I got my schedule. I was able to go to all my classes, everything lined up how it was supposed to be. It was definitely really hard sitting in front of a screen all day, every day, not being able to talk to my friends as much because that's the type of interaction that I loved, especially when in Girls Prep, I talked to everyone and I loved everything. Everyone had different cultures and everything was just so diverse. And it was something I really, really enjoyed to learn new things about everyone every day. But it was very hard. It was definitely a process. And I had to learn like it happens. You got to keep working, you got to keep going. You got to definitely keep pushing. But now, when I want to say half of my eighth grade year was virtually, and then my whole freshman year was virtual as well. And so I told myself, okay, by freshman year, this pandemic is over. I mentally prepared myself for that. By freshman year of high school, is a clean slate. I'm currently now in sophomore year wearing masks. And it's hard. It's very hard, but I love the one-on-one interaction that we're doing now. And those help prepare me when sitting in front of a screen so that when I was able to shift into high school and they gave me longer periods, longer classes, that I was able to sit there and really understand everything that was happening because they had office hours. They emailed me. They made sure I had everything that I need. And so it was again, it was a process. It was long. It was heartbreaking. Mental health definitely went down. And I feel like that's something that's not really talked about is how did I mentally was able to do anything. And so it was hard because you get into this mind state that you see all four walls of your house for hours and hours a day. And I'm an athlete. I love going outside. I love running. I love, again, socializing with people. That is who I am. That will never change. And so when I had to really switch from automatically in one day, overnight, I kid you not, online, it was like, what is happening? What just happened? And it was very hard, but it was definitely a learning experience. And I wouldn't take it back, honestly. Although we are still in the midst of a pandemic, again, everything happened and helped me grow as the person that I am to really not just to love, but to appreciate the things that were around me that I now get to see that I didn't get to see a year ago or months ago. And it was definitely a learning experience.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for all of us. What was your support system like adjusting to all these new things?
Besides Miss Makala, I would want to say Miss Lopez. And so, um, although they weren't academic teachers, they were teachers that I saw every day that were honest with me, that supported me, and they played a really huge part in my life in the sense of I saw them every day. You people don't realize that when you see people 5 days a week, for hours, whether you're walking down the hall to get to your next class or whatever it is, whether you're getting a lunch break, whether you needed a mental break to sit in their office. These people play a role. And so Miss Lopez, every time I saw her, she was blunt with me. Maya, what's going on? I see it. I read it off of you. What's wrong? And so it was definitely, although sometimes I didn't want to talk, they were there. And I knew they were there. And again, that community, that support system, to have them truly means a lot. And although it could be frustrating because you're like, I'm perfectly fine, they were there and they were like, are you okay? How's your day? And Miss Lopez, I still keep in contact with her actually to this day. I texted her the other day and I was like, how does it feel to be the dean? How does it feel to take such a huge role? And she was like, it's overwhelming, but I love it. And so it's absolutely amazing to keep in contact with them and to see not just my growth as a person, but to see them develop as people too, because they are still young and they are still developing themselves. And so sometimes we don't realize that. We don't realize that the people in our schools that we see, especially since I've known them for a long time, we grow with them. They watch us grow in their eyes. And so it was definitely a really cool experience. And I love that I'm still able to turn on my phone and text her when I need something, or she can text me when she needs something. Is everything okay? And actually, not too long ago, I set up a brunch with her. We got brunch together and we started talking about everything. And I would never forget these moments because she was honest with me. She cared and she never had her phone off. Whenever I needed to talk to her, she was there. And I really do appreciate them.
Wow, I'm just blown away by the support system you had by, again, really in capturing the core value of sisterhood. And so glad that you're still in contact with them, even 8 years later, and into your high school journey and eventually into college. You're still in contact with your teachers, and I'm so glad that you have that kind of support system. Again, just really happy for you and the journey that you've been on. And I know it must not have been easy. Always curious to hear, what kind of student were you in school? What was it learning experience like at Girls Prep?
So, as I said earlier, I really struggled with learning, something that was really, really hard. All the girls in my school were ahead, which is something I love now looking back on because Girls Prep offered more in the sense of academically, you need something, you need to be on this grade level. There's no such thing as being below that because if you are, you're going to get help for that. And so when I was younger, I struggled. And by the time that right before middle school, I was on grade level. When I got to middle school, I was eventually above grade level. And although I did struggle with English because I still do to this day, um, they helped me develop. They helped me get on grade level with everyone else and push myself to be more, to exceed. And although I hated annotations and I hated state tests and let me say disliked, I it helped me in the long run. It helped me definitely grow. And so academically, I'm doing well right now. I just got on the dean's list. I've been on the dean's list for the past 2 years, and we also have trimesters in my school. And so that's 6 dean's list, and dean's list is basically a 4.0 GPA. And so I was able to keep that up throughout quarantine and still going into school. And so this helped me because if I wasn't able to be pushed when I was younger, that would have never helped build me to who I was today, which is someone that wants to overachieve, that wants to be better because I know what it is to be behind. And I don't like catching up. I like to be there and I like to push forward. And so Girls Prep definitely helped me and allowed me to grow. And during school, when I was in elementary and when I was in middle school, I would say there was kind of two different people. In elementary school, which again, I remember very faintly, I was very happy but I was an emotional child. And so everything or anything someone said, or whether I was struggling in school, it really took a really big toll on me because I wanted to be on grade level with all my friends. I didn't want to have to stay back while my friends are going to recess to read a little more. But again, this is all a learning experience. I was able to grow. And then I got to middle school, and I was still finding myself. I still am. I'm still finding myself. I'm still finding who I am. But I learned, again, I love to talk. I love to talk. I love to socialize with people. And so I noticed I was a little angry, a little aggressive because I had my shell up from when I was in elementary school because I always struggled academically. And so I didn't want nobody to tell me anything mean. Meanwhile, everyone was there to support me to be better. And so later on now in high school, I learned to be more open. And I learned that it is okay to what I've went through in the past academically. Like it happens. We all grow. And so right now, and I would say during my 7th and 8th grade year to currently, I'm an ambitious person who again is an overachiever and is very ambiguous. And I love helping people. I love being there for others. I love supporting others. And again, that's how they help shape me to know what I want to do in my future. But really hounding on the things that I feel passionately about. And so I definitely changed because that's what happens as you get older. And so I wouldn't have it any other way because honestly, it's different when you're in the moment. It's different when you're in middle school or when you're in elementary school and you're like 4 years from now, oh my gosh. But now I'm a sophomore. And I look back on all those years that I was like, oh, it's school. And now I'm like, this school helped shape me to who I am and push me to be better.
It has been such a pleasure to hear how you've developed and grown from the challenges of finding a great school and community to having to shift and adapt to a new world of virtual learning. To those listening who are thinking about girls prep, do you have any wisdom or advice that you can impart for them as they start their journey?
Discovering themselves, I think, is an experience I hope that they get. But to live life to the fullest in the sense of things happen really fast in a blink of an eye. And you think that, okay, today's a really long day. I gotta get through tomorrow. And then the week after that, it goes by really fast. And so I feel that discovering who they are, and not just that, because that takes years, but to learn what you want to be passionate about those things and to really run with it. Because something that I wish I knew was if you're not open, how can you expect people to come into your life and make a really good impact on your life? And so I hope that those young kids that I get to say now, because I was once their age and I'm still young, but I hope that they can really have an open mind and the experience that I had in the sense of a support system, great opportunities, and a community that wants great things for them. Because the girls that you surround yourself with now play a really big impact. And something that I would never forget was my living environments teacher, Mr. Patel. He always told me, iron sharpens iron. And so that is something which stuck with me. The people you surround yourself with are the people that when you go and talk to other people is how you present yourself. And that's how you're going to be. And I wanted better for myself. But I noticed that the girls I was surrounding myself with were bettering me. So I didn't have to question that. I didn't have to question my support system or my community, because although I was already facing a battle within myself, whether it came to academics or mental health, I had those people there to really help push me to be the best version of myself, which is, again, it is a very hard thing. But I just hope that they're able to build and be the best version of themselves at a young age, but to live life to the fullest, because again, it goes by very fast.
Thanks to Myalynn and her family for making this interview possible. Engineering of the Public Prep Podcast by Pete Wright and True Story FM. Our music today is Better Days by Paper Planes. Thank you for downloading. We'll be back next week with another story from Public Prep.